Today, Peter Cameron, play about to commence at the MCG.
And interesting, Bob, to see Dennis Carroll lining up at full forward for the Swans and playing on Danny Hughes of Melbourne.
Yes, a very interesting move. I'll ask you how you think it'll go in a minute. As Ironmonger gets the first tap of the game, comes through, a quick handball, Morwood, forced forward, it's a push in the back, and in direct contrast to last week, it's the Swans, not the Demons. Last week, Melbourne went straight into attack. Carroll's up, can't take the mark. Carroll lined up at full forward, coming across, could have been a free kick to Murphy. Call play on as it's smothered, comes out. Desperate play by both sides, and the loose ball comes out towards the half-back flank, with Wright coming in to put a hip and shoulder against Coop. Over the boundary line it goes.
Well, already, Bob, even in this first 2 minutes of play, the Swans were going in absolutely ferociously on 3 or 4 occasions, and I think they're really revved up for this game today after all the criticism that they have received.
I'll tell you what, Tui and Steins at the other end of the ground are niggling each other right throughout.
I'm not surprised. That's the way Bernard Tui plays the game, and so does Big Jimmy Steins. That's O'Dwyer bring it towards the half-back line. Brett Bailey marks on half-back flank. He'll have the job on Greg Williams today, Bailey, as the kick comes towards the centre of the ground. Bays is the high flyer, couldn't take it. Sean White was there. Players pouncing on top of the ball, and umpire Peter Cameron will come in and bounce it. It's almost on centre wing. No scorers yet. 1.5 minutes into this first quarter. There's Ironmonger beaten by O'Dwyer. Out it comes to Paul Hawke. It's kicked off the ground by Greg Healy. Craig Holden's there also, and eventually it's forced over the line. Now, the two Healy boys, of course, against each other today. Greg Healy and the Sydney Swans champion, Gerard. There's Craig Holden on screen. He'll be delighted to be back in that Swan side.
Yes, as Ironmonger gets the tap down. Pack starting to form. Gerard Healy, a free kick against Gerard Healy, I do believe. I think he hooked his brother. Melbourne going forward. Flower in the middle. Oh, beautiful mark, Robert Flower. And the fans delighted.
Don't they love him?
Deservedly so, as Robert Flower from 50 metres out goes goalward. He's offline, and it's through for a 1 point. First score of the game comes up to the Demons, and it's a 1 point kick by Robert Flower. And on replay, we see the mark, a lovely mark, Robert Flower.
It was a great mark, and probably the most loved footballer in VFL football, Robert Flower, and rightly so. What a great champion he has been. There's Rocket Rod Carter bringing it to half-back. O'Dwyer went for the big fist away. Gerard Healy getting the hoots because he's a former Melbourne player. To Dennis Carroll, a great attempt to mark. Danny Hughes gets a very good bounce. Picks it up and heads out wide towards the boundary line. Barry Mitchell's there for the Swans. And the little gutsy rover has got it. Hooks it back. Tony Morwood. Sean White. That'll be a tremendous contest, that one. Danny Hughes gets in a hand pass. Glenn Coleman with his knee heavily strapped, which I don't think is too good a sign. There's Stephen Wright. Taken away brilliantly by Stephen Newport. Newport to half forward. A good mark by big Wayne Henwood.
Yes, and I think he might do well today too.
He's in his right position, Bob.
Yes, Henwood towards half forward. Oh, lovely mark by Brian Wilson. Judged it to perfection. Thought about handballing. Could be called play on. Has been. Gets it out to Graeme Yeats. Yeats coming up, steadies. Drives the ball out wide. Dean being told by Viney just exactly how he stands. The long hand pass. There's 3 Melbourne players. Lovett accepts the ball. Hooks the ball forward. Carter's there. Over the back of the pack it comes. Can Melbourne get there? They cannot. Carter picks it up. A very, very short kick. Ian Roberts dives in. Over the boundary line it goes. Out of bounds on the full. And the free kick will go the way of Melbourne. And so we'll find Melbourne, as we see the season's average, and the Swans way up on that one. Ricky Jackson, formerly of Richmond. Jackson's not going to take the kick, though. It's Brett Bailey who will have the shot. Bailey plays on with a short pass to Flower. He slipped. Flower's opponent today, Neil Cordy. The hand pass came towards Bailey, but it was over the line. Free kick against Bailey should come out of that.
I agree with you, Bob. That was pretty undisciplined, and I think the umpire should have given that
Probably
free
wasn't
kick.
dramatic enough for Peter Cameron. Henwood puts it wide. Greg Williams clumps it forward. Over the line it goes.
Well, I feel sorry for the poor old Swans. all you hear is boos every time they go near the ball. This is a predominantly Melbourne crowd, of course.
Well, we are on the members' side of the ground.
That's true. There's John Northey on the phone already. 5 minutes gone, first quarter. I think it's good coaching by Tom Hafey to put Cordy on Flower. I think that's a very good match.
What do you think about the move of Carroll at full forward?
Well, I think they had to do something. They lacked a bit of firepower against Hawthorn up forward, besides Kappa, and, well, they have to replace Kappa. I think it's worth a try. Forwards win matches. There's Steins. Taken away by Gerard Healy, hooking it back towards the wing. The mark is dropped by O'Dwyer. There's Paul Hawke, a lovely hand pass. Steve Wright's got it. Another one of those gutsy little rovers for the Swans. Wright brings it to half forward, but the mark is taken by Lovett. Lovett, off he goes. From half back, a low kick. There's Bolton trying to get away with the ball. Beautiful hand pass was by Mitchell to Dennis Carroll, and look at that booming kick up towards the forward line. Morwood, he should mark it. Oh, couldn't quite grab it. Hutley pressing in with Sean White. Lovely hand pass finds Mitchell. Mitchell towards the square. Bays is there, and also Stephen Stretch. Good play by Stretch. There's 2-on-1 here, but the Bays, beautifully done, Mark Bays. And eventually he loses it and over the line. But there's a lot of desperation out there, Bob.
Yes, by both sides. It's a great start. It's a typical final game. O'Dwyer against Coleman. Bays whipped in and got the tap, but it was a free kick going the way of Melbourne. And the big Stephen O'Dwyer, the boy from St Bernard's, has played 15 games of league football. His first final match because he was out suspended last week. And it's Newport who takes it. Plays on. Hooks the ball forward. Fortunately, straight into the arms of Warren Dean. So Dean, well down from centre half forward. A shocking kick. Now that was the fault of Dean.
I agree. I thought he ran too close to the man on the mark then,
umpires are too prone to blame the fact that if he kicks into the man on the mark, it's 15 metres.
Well, the rain is starting to come down here. Only light drizzle, but it's there. There's Flower. You can hear the roars of the crowd every time Robbie Flower goes near it. Ricky Jackson, he picks it up. He kicks wide to Graeme Yeats. Yeats has got it. Hand pass to Wilson. Wilson fires at goal. Is it the first? Yes.
An excellent goal by Brian Wilson. A nice hand pass from Graeme Yeats. And with the rain coming down very heavily at the moment, it's a great start to Melbourne. As we see Ricky Jackson take possession on replay. The short kick out wide. Loose checking there by David Bolton as Yeats was down the ground. The hand pass to Wilson, and it's through for 1 goal.
Well, 1 goal won the Demons. Sydney yet to score, and as the rain tumbles down, it's a pretty wild day. There's the kick come from Viney right down towards the forward line. It's punched away by Rod Carter. I think we're going to be, for interstate viewers, we're going to be in for a couple of showers during the afternoon. If we go by the seconds game, it didn't really affect the standard of play, though. They had a couple of showers, but the players still handled the ball pretty well. It's not really heavy rain. There's Holden, a high kick towards half-back. O'Dwyer sets himself, misjudges it, loses it to Healy. The ball is out wide to Stretch. Yeats backing up, Melbourne backing up beautifully. Graeme Yeats kicks towards the forward line. Ironmonger's there. Steins is there also, and David Williams was tacked very, very high.
Looked like a high tackle to me.
She wasn't ever deep in that forward pocket. The David Williams and the Melbourne members weren't too happy.
Understandably so, because it did look like a high tackle. Hit out's average for Ironmonger and O'Dwyer for the season. Steins got the tap. Neil Cordy coming through, lost possession. The ball comes back to Steins. He's tackled. Ironmonger does the shepherding, and Mitchell comes away with the ball. Gets it towards Greg Williams. Williams out with a hand pass. Play looked as though it's stopped for the moment, and the kick comes forward where it's taken by Gerard Healy. The hand pass from Gerard Healy, accepted by Roberts. Roberts puts the ball forward, and it's a lovely mark. That's a fine mark there, taken by Earl Spalding.
Well, I think that Glenn Coleman really has to fire today. He's got to do a lot at centre forward, not just leave it to Carroll. There's Bolton taking a good mark on the wing. Spalding's been in excellent form. That should be 15 metres against, could have been another one. Oh, Williams, bad hand pass. Set up Greg Williams badly. That was poor play by the Swans. So back towards the centre of the ground. Paul Hawke is there. Big Ironmonger picked it up beautifully. Healy's in everything at the moment. Gerard Healy. Oh, gutsy mark. A very courageous mark, that is David Murphy. and great to see him back in the side, Bob.
Yes, he's playing at half forward though. I personally prefer him on the wing, but we'll see how it goes.
Probably the most improved player in the VFL competition.
Yes, I would go along with that. And David Murphy from Turvey Park, 25 years of age. The kick from David Murphy is a shocker. He's hooked it completely, and it's through for 1 point, but it is the Swans' first score. It's 1-1 Melbourne, 1 point the Swans.
Well, he took 2 paces before he had that kick. You think the guy of his experience would get back on the mark and really run in, because he really didn't balance himself. Then Hughes to half-back. Coleman goes for the punch. Oh, well done to Greg Williams. Paul Hawke, oh, Danny Hughes crashes his way through from full-back. Can't get his boot to ball. Tunnel balls it out. And away they come again, the Demons, through Lovett. Right up towards centre wing, and a good mark has been taken by Ian Roberts.
Roberts gives the hand pass immediately to Gerard Healy. Healy steadies and puts the ball across towards half forward. White was up high, couldn't take it. It's holding the man, the Swans. Call play on as the loose ball comes now towards half forward. For the Swans it was. Wilson put the hand pass in, missed by Ironmonger. Jackson gets his hand pass in, and we find Brett Bailey lost possession completely. Bolton gives the hand pass to Roberts. The Swans go forward. Nobody at home. Over the back it comes. It might run through. Kicked off the ground by Coleman. Full points. Scores a level.
Well, that is much better play by the Swans. 1-1 apiece. There's Steve Wright showing. Let's see who actually kicked it. Ian Roberts, the long kick. And Coleman's doing some bustling work. Coleman and Steve Wright. That should have been holding the man anyway. Oh, gee, have a look at that. And who actually...
Right.
Which one kicked?
Stevie Wright kicked it.
I think Steve Wright did kick that one. Number 26 kicked it. Well, you saw that in replay. A great camera shot of that one. It should have been a free kick to Coleman anyway. I don't know whether the umpire would have paid it, as the punch comes out wide from Mitchell. Knocked on by Viney. Newport leads in the race. Slippery conditions at the moment, and I think we're in for a ring-a-ding game today. The Swans really look as though they're out to make amends for last week's poor performance. There's big Wayne Henwood. A high floater. Spalding sets himself and takes an excellent mark at centre-half back.
As you said earlier, Pete, that duel will have a big impact on the game as Brian Wilson takes the mark. 15 metres has been paid.
A professional one.
And so Wilson now goes short. No mark taken. Henwood coming through. Clumps the ball forward. Is going to be penalised. That was foolish play by Henwood.
Well, I mentioned this in the game at VFL Park yesterday. There were plenty of them, and that umpire paid it well. And there's Steins having a quick snap at goal. Steve Wright knocks it back. Ricky Jackson's got it. Hand passes. Gee, they're going in hard. And is that a free kick? I think the umpire, Peter Cameron, he took a bit of a dive, but the umpire is paying the free kick to Robert Flower in the forward pocket.
That'll keep him sweet with the Melbourne members anyway.
Well, here it is. Let's we go. We just missed the end of that. Right in front of the Melbourne members stand, and about 35 metres out from goal. The camera right behind the Melbourne champ, Robert Flower. And let's see if he can kick it. He is a great kick for goal normally, Robert Flower. Well, on this occasion, give a bloke a rap. He's hooked it right across, and this is a behind to Melbourne.
2 points to Robbie Flower.
And they move on to 1-2. The Sydney Swans on 1-1, but this is going to be a great game of football.
I have that feeling, Pete. I really do. As Rod Carter goes long. Neil Cordy in front. Good effort to take the mark. It was punched away. And I think that's Tiggy Touchwood like that. What else can a player do when he's trying to punch the ball away? Cordy's kick goes off the side of the boot and out of bounds on the full. Surely you let those ones go.
Yes, I agree with you on that one, Bob. I think some of the umpires early in the game sometimes try and keep control and to let
we
the
are 14 minutes into the game, and it's a great mark he's taken there in the middle of the pack by Warren Dean. That was a lovely mark.
He's a good player, isn't he?
On replay, we see Ironmonger try to punch the ball away, but couldn't get the height, and Warren Dean took a superb mark. Dean's kick towards goal. Well, as you said last week, Pete, the way he holds that ball and drops it, he seems to hook it on most occasions.
He kicks a lot of points, Warren Dean, because of, as you said, the way he holds it, and always right to left, almost like an inside-out swing in golf, as we see Rod Carter, a wobbly old kick from fullback. Brian Wilson set himself for the mark. He's got it. He hooks it back. Robert Flower picks up, hooks it to the pocket. Oh, good play in Roberts to attack the ball. That was beautiful football to Craig Holden. A little chip pass looking for Greg Williams. Can he get there? Oh, cleverly done. He was grabbed. It'll be a free kick. Tripped, in fact, said the umpire. So Greg Williams, that was very clever play by Williams. He's not a quick player, but great football break. Gee, they're running too close to them in on the mark time and time again, some of these players.
Yes, you can't understand a player like Greg Williams even doing that. But what was the difference in that to when they kicked it to the mark earlier? None. Ridiculous. I'm afraid inconsistency by umpires I do not like. Ricky Jackson forces the ball forward, gathers it well. The hand pass over the top to Flower. Flower towards goal. He's across the face, and that's the third point to Robert Flower. And as we mentioned earlier, Neil Cordy has the job of Robert Flower. Bernard Toohey dropping back into the back pocket to pick up the big fellow Steins. Mark Bays has gone to a wing, Murphy to half forward, and Dennis Carroll to full forward for the Swans.
I think they've already moved Glenn Coleman away from centre half forward to the forward pocket, Bob. There's Greg.
He lined up there, actually, mate.
Oh, did he? Well, there's Bays. Let's see his kicking. Oh, why did he handball that? But it comes back to Morwood. Here's a chance for the Swans. Stephen Wright, 35 metres from goal. The little fella fires a goal. He's kicked it. Great goal, Steve Wright.
Stevie Wright kicking his second goal, and the Swans go to 2 goals, 1-13, leading Melbourne on 1-4-10. On replay, we see the ball hand passed out forward on to Stevie Wright, gathers the ball in well, and a well-placed kick puts it right through the centre.
Back to the centre, and the Swans looking pretty good so far. They're looking as if they've got a lot of cohesion up forward. Graeme Yeats towards the pocket. David Williams slips over, and I think Rod Carter's in for a busy afternoon because David Williams is a very quick player, leads a lot, runs around the forward line, and Rocket Rod, he doesn't get many...
He'll do his job.
Oh, he's fantastic. Doesn't get many goals kicked on him. 17.5 minutes gone in this first quarter. A very, very even contest at the moment. 2-1, plays 1-4, so already it's 5 scoring shots to 3 in favour of Melbourne.
Swans interchange bench, Brett Scott and Mark Browning. Steins wins the tap, taken by Jackson. Well-placed kick from Jackson. He's hooked it back towards the square. Fowler over the top, kicks it off the ground. Flower, that is! And Robbie Flower brings up his first goal, and now Melbourne are in front, 16-13.
Well, that was beautiful play by the little fella, Ricky Jackson. Watch this, Steins went for the hit out, but look at the pace. Off he goes and hooks it hard and long, and you'll see this, Flower almost took the mark. It came to ground, knocked on by Williams, and then Flower just got his boot to the ball, and a very, very handy goal, which put them in front, the Melbourne side, by 3 points.
Centre bounce. O'Dwyer got the tap, not a clear one. Williams took it, then Yeats. Ironmonger tried to get the hand pass in. Williams' short kick was smothered. Stretch took it, lost it, and is penalised. And a Melbourne player is down behind play. It looks like Brian Wilson, I'm not sure. But it's the Swans with the free kick. David Murphy puts the ball forward. Up high was Spalding, couldn't take the mark. The loose ball comes out. The hand pass. Good defensive work as Lovett takes it. Lovett towards centre wing, but Holden in the front position takes the mark. Craig Holden as Brian Wilson in the hands of the trainers.
He's often on the ground, Brian Wilson, Bob, isn't he?
What are you suggesting, Pete?
All I said is he's often on the ground as we see Newport from the back pocket. Now, is that a free kick that's going to the Swans' way in the forward pocket? It is Greg Williams copping a hard one. Let's have a look in replay. Newport's got it. Oh, that was hip and shoulder by...
Yes, but the ball was more than 5 metres away. Williams wasn't even...
I thought they would have been counted that as shepherding, actually.
You still can't shepherd if the ball's more than 5 metres away.
Won't argue with you on that one, Bob, but there's Greg Williams from 25 metres out on a very acute angle. And the hoots of the Melbourne supporters, and the champion sentiment has missed. And he has put it through for a behind. So some poor kicking going on. 2-2 to 2-4 at the 20 mark of the first quarter, and he is a vital player, Greg Williams. They really want a big game from him today. Stephen Stretch, there's Paul Hawke, you saw in the inset shot there, coming off the ground. Kick towards half-back. Kicked away by Greg Healy. Holden tries to keep it in play, but it beats him, as we see the Coca-Cola sign in the background.
I would like to say thank you to Coca-Cola for the refreshments that do help during the game. O'Dwyer puts the ball out, and a free kick comes the way of Barry Mitchell. So Mitchell, as Brian Wilson comes off the ground, replaced by Simon Eishold. Mitchell puts the ball forward. Coleman couldn't quite take the mark. And Brett Lovett's quite happy to see the ball run over the boundary line. So a throw-in will take place 10 metres around from the behind post forward pocket for the Swans.
Brett Scott is on the ground, Bob, in place, of course, of Paul Hawke, who just went off a moment ago.
Yes, Hawke hasn't done anything so far. As Earl Spalding gets the tap, it's tapped on by Eishold, and Stevie Wright comes after it, tried to keep it in play, but I don't think he managed to. So a throw-in to take place about 50 metres around from the goals. The last time they met, the Swans won by 36 points. That was in round 12.
Was that in Sydney or here, Bob? Can you recall?
I think it was here. O'Dwyer gets a big tap out. Mitchell dispossessed. Viney picks the ball up from Melbourne, does well and drives the ball long in towards the centre. Cordy wins out against Robert Flower on this occasion. And now Cordy, as we saw, Gerard Healy take it after Brett Bailey slipped. The ball comes up towards the forward area. Stevie Wright couldn't take the mark. Kicked off the ground by Coleman. Picked up by Murphy. Murphy the snap towards goal, but can't get the accuracy right. And 1 point comes on the board. So we see Swans 15, Melbourne 16.
Very, very even contest. John Northey again having a word to his runner. Mark is dropped. I wouldn't have paid that.
I wouldn't have paid it either.
I think he ducked the head and should have marked it, Stephen Stretch. Ducked the head on that one and didn't really hold it long enough, but the umpire paid it. Out wide goes Stretch to Healy. Greg Healy from half-back flank. Looking for Flower. Flower and Cordy. Cordy can match it with Flower for pace. A very quick player, Neil Cordy. Ian Roberts attempted the hand pass to him, and eventually it was forced over the line.
He's given it a throw. Very technical.
I'll tell you what, I couldn't see it. Now, whose free kick is it? It's going back to Eishold on centre wing. Peter Cameron, a few theatrics in front of the Melbourne member stand, I think, Bob, as we see the ball up towards the forward pocket. He is makes a big difference in defence, Bernard Toohey. A very stable player, Toohey, a reliable player. He brings it to centre wing. Morwood flies from behind, punches it. Bolton has got it. Tries to attempt a hand pass. Back it comes. Newport, centre wing, chips it wide, and there's Neil Cordy, and that's a great contest. A hand pass. Further afield to Ian Roberts. Roberts looking for Morwood, and he should mark this one, and he does. Tony Morwood right out in that half-forward flank area. Now, where is Carroll? Carroll is making a lead. Out he comes, and drops the mark. It was a good lead and a good pass, but he couldn't quite hold it. It's deep in that forward pocket. Well, actually on half-forward flank, I should say, and the bounce will take place.
Actually, that really, David Howlett was too quick to blow the whistle then, I thought. Stephen Newport had dived straight on top of the ball. Rain coming down once again. Doesn't go any other way down, does it? But Healy puts the ball across the ground, and Sean White takes the mark. The new idol of the Melbourne crowd.
They love him.
Sean White. It's a nice kick into the centre of the ground. Bolton, Ironmonger punches it away. Quick hand pass. That time came from Murphy. It comes back now, and Melbourne go forward through Viney. The kick offline. Big O'Dwyer was there. Tui tried to tap it out, does so. Players dive in from both sides, and the umpire has no option whatsoever but to bounce the ball.
This is a great game, I reckon, Bob. But I think there's two very, very desperate sides out there, because the loser of this game is finished for 1987, and I think that really makes it the top contest.
No doubt about that, as Tommy Healy was having a word on the phone. Desperate plays kicked off the ground by Melbourne, but Carter does well. Picked up by Henwood. O'Dwyer not chasing hard enough on that occasion, and Henwood drives the ball up towards the wing, and it's a fine mark taken by Greg Williams.
He even wanted a handball then, didn't he,
And
Bob?
he still does. Hand passes out now, taken by Craig Holden. Holden across towards half forward. Coleman whipped across the front. Scott got it out to right. Stevie Wright goes towards goal, but he's offline, out of bounds on the full, and so the result will be a free kick to Melbourne. 15 to the Sydney Swans, 16 to Melbourne, 2-3 to 2-4 as the ball comes out. Steins picks it up for Melbourne, a little short kick. Now that was deliberate, there's no doubt about that. The Gaelic football coming to the fore in that piece of play by Jim Steins. It comes back to him again, he's tackled, should be penalised, and didn't get boot to ball. It didn't quite work.
He tried it again, the little one off the side, and that time a bit of solid work there. Tony Campbell's coming on the ground. This is good coaching by John Northey, and taking off big O'Dwyer, Stephen O'Dwyer, because with the slippery conditions, and he didn't chase before, as Bob said, that's probably why he's been taken off. Now, it's on half forward. Greg Williams is looking dangerous. Barry Mitchell, tremendous play over the top, looking for Stephen Wright, but there's the idol of the crowd, the Scotsman. A lot of people think he's Irish.
Defence, wasn't it?
Oh, tremendous. Sean White, and he is going to be a Victorian player next year, in my opinion. Sean White, a very, very colourful player, as it's on half forward for the Swans. Can they score a goal? Steins punches it away. A quick kick comes out of the pack. Sean White slips over, or was it? There was Spalding, in fact. Carroll is there. Graeme Yeats off the ground. This should favour the Swans. Oh, Ironmonger got in the way of Greg Williams then. He should have let the smaller player come through. Newport is tackled. Oh, some strong work going on there. The Swans really putting in. Greg Williams. It's taken away, though, by Bailey. Bailey to half forward. Great mark, Cordy. He's on top of Flower at the moment as he gets it over to Tui. And Bernard Tui brings it to half forward. He's looking down there for Glenn Coleman.
Loose play at the moment as Wright gives it across to Coleman, a fresh air shot. It's picked up by Mark Bays. Bays hooks the ball over the shoulder up towards the forward area. Danny Hughes not worrying about anything else but thumping it over, and just as it was given by Henwood at the other end of the ground, Danny Hughes made no attempt to keep it in play, so at least they're consistent.
Well, I commented on this out of VFL Park yesterday. Players were just deliberately running over the line with the ball, and the umpires have gone the other way today. They're paying them. At least they're consistent, as you said, Bob, and that's good. Carroll will make the players try and keep the ball in play and not just defend out of bounds. There's Carroll from the boundary line. It's a beautiful kick of a football. This is close. I think he might have kicked it. What a great goal.
They talk about captain's goals, and that was certainly one. From the boundary line, Dennis Carroll, the Swan skipper, playing at full forward today, and so was selected at half-back. And the move, well, I personally doubted, but Dennis Carroll is a great goer, and I'm sure that's what Tommy Healy is looking for from that point of view.
And he's got ability.
Five points the margin in favour of the Swans as Gerard Healy puts the ball forward once again. Brett Lovett leads in the race for the ball, taps the ball forward, and he's quite happy to see it run over the boundary line, so a throw-in to take place.
This is in direct contrast to last week's game, where Melbourne were just doing anything they liked last week under no pressure from North Melbourne. The Swans are putting them under enormous pressure in this first quarter.
Jim Steins used his body well. Took a long time to get rid of it, but he gets it to Healy. Greg Healy puts the ball forward, but Rod Carter well up the ground with Williams. He's got the loose man out wide. Stevie Wright, a lovely pass, goes to Wright, right towards half forward. Up high was Steins, couldn't take the mark. He gets good support from Eishold, being told by Lovett that he's clear, so he steadies, drives the ball towards centre wing. Carter in front, Dean loses possession. Rod Carter taps the ball forward. In comes Ian Roberts of the Swans, Roberts thought about the hand pass. Little short kick went over the head that time of his teammate. A good tackle against it. I thought Coop should have got a free kick then. It was an excellent tackle. Siren sounds at quarter time and the scores are Swans 3-3, 21, Melbourne 2-4, 16. Commencement of play in the second quarter at the MCG. 5 points the margin in favour of the Swans. O'Dwyer got the tap. Ward was held when not in possession. Bayes tackled, loses possession, puts the tackle on Spalding. I didn't think that was too high. Call play on as Spalding goes forward. Flower taps the ball down. The loose ball comes out and it's picked up by Viney. No, Viney leaves it for his teammate and Yeats comes forward for Melbourne. Yeats still trying to gain possession, so too Viney. Free kick should go the way of Stevie Wright. The advantage rule allowed and Swans go forward. Eventually we find Williams putting the ball up there. Diving attempt to be taken by Mitchell, kept in play by O'Dwyer. Coop puts a little short kick forward and Melbourne go forward as Eichhold puts the ball up towards the forward area. Could have been a free kick to Melbourne, but called play on as they hooked the ball up towards the forward zone. Ian Roberts went after it. Taken now by Jackson. Jackson with a hand pass. Back. Yeats steady, straightens up, goes goalward. Nice looking kick off the boot. Excellent goal, Graeme Yeats.
Well, that was beautiful play by Melbourne. As you called it, Bob, I thought it was a free kick out there to Tony Campbell when his arms were pulled off the ball, but the speed of little Ricky Jackson and how Richmond let this little fella go, well, they might have made a mistake as we see a beautiful hand pass to Graeme Yeats. Craig Holden ran at him, a lovely directed kick, a high one, and it floats through for a goal. So 1 point the difference in favour of the Demons as we come back to the centre of the ground. Umpire David Howlett. Kicked away by Greg Healy towards half forward. Jackson was leading in the race. Warrendine, beautiful pass to David Williams. I said earlier in the piece, he's a very quick leader. Now here's he's going for the long kick, David Williams, from 55 metres. He sets it up. Neil Cordy from behind, but it floats through for a point in the meantime. So the Demons move a little bit further in front. They move on to 3-5-23. The Sydney Swans on 3-3-21.
2 points the margin held by Melbourne as the short pass comes to Bolton, who's able to play on immediately and puts the ball up towards the centre of the ground. Tony Morwood up high to take a nice mark. Now Earl Spalding running over the mark. Now they're not consistent. Morwood up towards half forward, punched away by Lovett. First on the scene, Coop. Scott coming in. Carroll, the hand pass from Carroll to Gerard Healy. Healy puts the ball high in the air. Sean White waiting for it. So too Carroll. There's a free kick against White. No call, play on by the umpire. And they're missing a few as Lovett picks the ball up. The hand pass accepted by Stretch. Breaks the first tackle. Hooks it over the shoulder. Ironmonger was there. Gave away a free kick. It should have been a kick to Spalding. But once again, it's not over the line. Eichhold trying to get the hand pass in. Call play on and now Bailey with a hand pass. Finds his teammate in Newport. Newport a short kick, a great piece of play by Gerard Healy and strong play now by Carter. Carter comes out, hooks it across in towards the centre. Pushing the back must be paid and it'll be taken by Stevie Wright.
Stephen Wright is playing an excellent game for the Swans. He's really putting in. He's a great player, Stephen Wright. That was a bit of a push in the back too, I think. But oh gee, they're letting it go as we see out wide. Greg Williams is controlling this game at the moment. He's playing a top game too for the Swans. He swings onto the left foot. An ordinary kick was smothered off the boot. It's grabbed by Sean White. He's looking for Tony Campbell. He went out very, very wide and straight over the line. There's enormous finals pressure on out there. I'm thoroughly enjoying this game. It's a great contest.
Yes, I cannot but agree, Pete. It is a great contest. 2 points the margin. 3-3 to 3-5. Melbourne leading at the moment. 4 minutes into the second term. Ironmonger got the tap. Picked up by Bolton. The hand pass out wide. And as Peter said, Stevie Wright playing an excellent game. Carroll in front. Great effort by Dennis Carroll. Now that's the courage we were talking about earlier when he stood his ground in front there. And on replay now you see Dennis Carroll, and I may have to eat my words on this one.
I agreed with the move, Bob, and don't forget, I think you've got to have a good player at full forward, and he's got tremendous talent. But the way
I don't remember you agreeing with the move.
I did be. But, I'm going to say it anyway. But Dennis Carroll, He backed into his opponent beautifully then. Let's see if he kicks it for the Swans. There it is. Is it a goal? No, a bad miss. A shocker. 25 metres, and you can't afford to do that on the forward line. And he's not happy with himself. The captain of the Sydney Swans, Daddy Hughes. That'll be a terrific contest. Test that as the day goes on. Hughes towards half back. Is that a mark? Healy is playing well. A hand pass. Comes out to Barry Mitchell. He sets it up for Coleman. He's pushed out of the pack. Play on, said the umpire. Grabbed by Lovett. Oh, gee, they're under it. The Swans are tackling beautifully and putting enormous pressure on.
Brett Lovett and Brett Scott, his opponent. 5.5 minutes gone in the second term. 1 point the margin between the sides as O'Dwyer gets the tap. Carroll, Murphy diving in. Got one too high. But I certainly wouldn't have given a free kick there either.
I think the good news for the Swans is that Williams and Healy, their two big guns, are playing well, Bob.
Well, Newport is now on Healy, so obviously Melbourne think he's doing all right too. And it's thumped through, scores a level. Coleman putting that ball through, so it's 23 points apiece. 3-5, 3-5. There's Danny Hughes from full back. A long kick. Morwood up high, puts the ball down. A bad bounce from Mitchell, but he tackled beautifully. Healy accepted the hand pass. Onto Yeats. Stretch. Took the gamble with the greasy top of the ground and bounced away from him. Dean was up, punched away. A loose hand pass, and it's taken by Healy. Gerard Healy gives the hand pass across the ground. It went past Bolton, but he's able to recover. Ironmonger comes in to lend support. The ball falls forward. Fans, Melbourne fans in the members looking for a free kick. They're getting one now, but they were looking for one earlier. But certainly, I agree with the umpire. It was play on.
Oh, yes, it was good umpiring. And there's Stephen Stretch. Our commentary box is right in the heart of the Melbourne supporters. And you can hear the roars right round the ground. There's Robbie Flower. Oh! Collided with his teammate O'Dwyer, really got in his way then. Williams is covering an enormous amount of territory. Ian Roberts comes in to lend a hand and takes it over the line at the 50-metre mark, half-forward flank.
That was one of those times then when Williams was a little bit too unselfish, because with the help of Roberts, I think he would have been able to get clear for a kick.
Yes, I agree, Bob. There's Tommy Hafey. Great record he's got coaching. Viney, brilliant play by Todd Viney. He crashes his way through, and what a team-inspiring goal that was.
An excellent goal by Todd Viney. He just burst his way through, showed sheer desire and great strength on replay. Todd Viney. Nobody was going to stop Todd Viney on that occasion, and the crowd rise as one. Great goal to Todd Viney. 6 points, the margin in favour of Melbourne, 4-5 to 3-5.
Ironmonger got the tap out. There's O'Dwyer, a bad hand pass. Now Bolton should kick long. He does. But there's no one ducking back except Daddy Hughes. Actually, as it turned out, Carroll let out and it was kicked straight over his head to Hughes.
Now, there's Bolton's man.
Right, well, there he is. Graeme Yeats has taken a mark uncontested. A long hand pass allows Cordy. Cordy's doing well on Flower. Cordy a hurried kick. Scott couldn't take the mark. That was over to Spalding, and of course that was from his teammate Lovett. Eventually coming away with it is Bailey. Over to Stephen O'Dwyer, and O'Dwyer a high drop punt towards half forward. Ian Roberts sets himself up. What a good mark coming across the front by Warren Dean.
It's a lovely mark to Dean. He'll be kicking from about 55 metres out. A replay shows Dean. Excellent mark.
He is a very long kick. He might make the distance from there, Bob.
Kick from Warren Dean. It's a nice looking kick. Won't quite make the distance. It's off the hands of Campbell and through for 1 point. So it's Melbourne 4-6, Swans 3-5.
Well, there's big Wayne Henwood, the man with the job on Warren Dean, a former Subiaco premiership player. He was not selected by the Eagles for their squad. Out wide. Oh, good play. It was by Spalding. Brilliant play by Spalding. He beat two of the Swans played. Not enough desperation by the Swans then.
It was a poor tackle.
certainly was, as Eichel gets across to Stretch, and a long booming kick. Good play by Stretch. Is it a mark? No. As the Swans players caught, he heads for home and gives a point away to the opposition. Well, I think he did the sensible thing then. 4-7 to 3-5. 8 points the difference in favour of Melbourne, as we see the ever-reliable Rod Carter looking for someone to give it to. He's not sure where to kick this one, Bob.
He's signalled as to what he wants, and he elects to go straight up the centre of the ground. Bays gave away a foolish free kick for mine, but it didn't matter because Eichel took the mark. And Melbourne playing well at the present moment, showing more aggression and more desire for the ball, and that's a lovely mark by Viney. I'd get Holden away from Viney.
Yes, Holden was out of form and was dropped, actually. You see a very good mark by Viney, a very courageous player. Always plays in front and attacks the ball, but Craig Holden hasn't been in good form in recent weeks and has only just returned to the side. Viney has already kicked 1 goal, former South Australian. His first season for Melbourne, as is his other half forward there, Warren Dean. There's the kick by Todd Viney. It's not a bad looking kick, and it's a goal.
2 goals to Todd Viney in this quarter. He played an excellent first quarter as well. And Todd Viney, a very, very dangerous player. The replay shows a fine mark. And I would be getting Craig Holden, as I said before, away from Todd Viney.
That Melbourne members stand, and this side of the ground is erupting at the moment, Bob.
$14 points the margin in favour of Melbourne. O'Dwyer gets it, smothered off the boot of Williams, tapped on by Ironmonger. Stevie right there, taps the ball on. It was missed by Sean White, but gets good support from Brett Bailey. Williams was held when not in possession. Gets the hand pass out to Bolton. Bolton tackled by Lovett, but breaks the tackle. A nice shepherd by Brett Scott. Sees the ball come forward, but a lovely mark in defence taken by Sean White.
Those forwards for the Swans have to do a lot more, Bob.
And they've got to pick up now because Lovett gets the ball across. Bailey missed him, but had all the time in the world to recover. It's back to Bailey again. Pushed as he was about to kick it, but Eichel takes the mark. No one on it. He gives it across to Flower. A goal coming up as Melbourne put the ball forward, and Flower kicks his second.
Beautiful teamwork that by the Melbourne side, but it all started down on the Swans forward line. A lack of pressure put on by the Swans forwards, and they allowed them to come out far too easily. Beautiful teamwork. Healy across to Bailey, to Eichel, who unselfishly gave it across to Flower, and Robbie Flower doesn't mess around when he's presented with those easy opportunities, as he slammed it through for a goal. 3-5 to 6-7, so 3 goals to the difference now. That's 20 points back to the centre of the ground. O'Dwyer, oh, they've got getting it out of the centre far too easily. That was Healy. Ian Roberts in front. Oh, here they come again. Oh, he lost it, Bailey, but there's Jackson backing up. Off the side of the boot, he goes to the pocket and puts it over the line as the rain tumbles down again here at the MCG.
Swans breaking down up forward. They've added only 2 behinds in this quarter, while Melbourne have kicked 4 goals, 3. John Northey having a word. Throw in the forward pocket for Melbourne. Roberts, kick smothered off the boot. Over the boundary line it goes, and a throw-in will take place.
I'd be tempted to get Coleman off the ground immediately under these conditions. He's done absolutely nothing, Bob, and I'd put Hawke on, have a smaller player. At least they'd have mobility up on that forward line.
Yes, I agree with you, Pete. Williams hooks it over the shoulder, but it's all Melbourne, and Stephen stretches there. Now, you know, look, I'd get Murphy into his natural position on the wing. Bay's where he should be at half forward. Well, that move has already been made. Stretch floats the ball forward, and Ironmonger punches it away, and it's through for 1 rush point. So David Murphy, number 35 on camera there with Stephen Stretch, and Mark Bays is at half forward. But, you know, Murphy didn't play well at his natural positions on the wing. Rod Carter, straight up the centre of the ground. Holden, a nice mark. Hand pass to Bolton. Bolton puts the long kick forward. Lovett backing back, takes a nice mark. He's been an excellent player. He's killing them, in fact. Greg Healy, fine mark. Now, I don't know what was Roberts supposed to do there. Call play on by the umpire now as Healy goes forward. Carter misses a sitter. Ironmonger takes it, can't get the hand passes in, and had no opportunity at all, and the bounce will take place. 23-44 in favour of Melbourne. 15 minutes into the quarter. The last 10 meetings, the Swans have won 6. Melbourne 4. Could easily have been a free kick to Melbourne on that occasion.
There's Greg Williams and Peter Cameron having plenty to say to each other, and well, he's a great goer, Greg Williams. Tremendous value for the Sydney Swans. He's trying his heart out there. But
surprises me in cases like that when they only talk to one player.
Well, Melbourne lead by 21 points. Well, it's not an insurmountable lead, that one. Now, the umpire said another throw there, Peter Cameron, and Greg Williams showing his disgust. Well, there's Ricky Jackson. Let's have a look at it. There is Carter. Oh, a bit stiff. Gee, that was very stiff.
Well, Cameron was at the other side of the pack.
Well, there's the kick by Jackson. It's a floater. Punch through, I feel, for a behind. Very unlucky then, Carter, with that. I thought he made an attempt to hand pass. It certainly looked like 169 to 3-5. 3-4 the difference. So they need a spurt of 2 or 3 goals quickly, the Swans, to get them back in this game.
They need to kick the next 2 goals.
That's right. There's Carter. Oh, gee, Spalding had his name written all over that. He's playing very well, Earl Spalding. And, gee, what a good find he's been. He and Dean, and look at that kick. A 70-metre kick. The Flyers are there. Here's a chance for a goal. Flower! And it's a goal.
3 goals to Robert Flower. And although Neil Cordy has picked up his few kicks, Robert Flower has really done the damage down there. He's kicked 3 goals, 3, 2 of them in this quarter, and the backman's job is not just to get kicks, you have to stop your opponent, and he's not doing that at this very moment. 23-51, a big break by Melbourne in these conditions. Melbourne interchange. 51-23, off the side of the boot. The mark taken down there by Murphy, across to Bolton. Bolton misses it, but he's able to recover, has time to steady. Went to go for the long kick, but it's off the side of the boot. Punched away that time by Coop. Gets good support from Stretch, and Stephen Stretch drives it to half forward. Free kick will go the way of Flower. Called play on the advantage rule. Healy towards goal. Carter right in the last line. Just takes the mark.
Rod Carter, off he goes to Neil Cordy. And Neil Cordy from the back pocket brings it towards Stephen Wright. Can't take it. Robbie Flower, beautiful hand pass to Stretch. Stretch hooks it back to half forward. Some desperate play going on. Brilliant play by Viney to Greg Healy. Here's another one coming up to the Demons as Healy slams it through.
With Melbourne running hot in this quarter, they have added 6 goals, 5. Well, the Swans have not put a goal on the board. They've added 2 solitary points. The book coming out, and it'll be interesting to see what the umpire has written on this one.
Well, I think Simon Eishold's the player offended against. I'm not sure who was actually reported, but I think a couple of books came out.
We apologise, we've lost the picture from Melbourne at the moment. We're endeavouring to restore that picture. As soon as we do, we'll take you back to the MCG. However, we'll stay with the sound so that we can keep in touch with what's happening at the MCG.
To be able to come back. So Peter Cameron still putting the notebook away. David Howlett about to bounce it in the centre of the ground.
I think the players involved were Greg Williams and Simon Eishold.
Well, it doesn't surprise me. I think he was getting very frustrated, Greg Williams. And as he sees his side not playing well, their forward line is playing very, very poorly, the Sydney Swans. Back it comes. Oh, here's a chance for Warren Dean. He kicks to Stein. Steins flies. Can't take the mark. and it's forced over the line deep in that forward pocket. They've got to make some moves. I'd be tempted to bring Carroll down the back line, believe it or not, and try Cordy at full forward. He has played there a lot, Bob.
Well, they've got Coleman at full forward now. Bayes in the forward pocket.
Well, Bayes has been very disappointing.
Come out to the half-forward line, and as you said before, in these conditions, surely a Paul Hawke would be better out there than a Coleman, who has done absolutely nothing so far. Melbourne, through the agency of Viney, putting it through for 1 point.
Bayes is coming off the ground. I think the score at the moment is 8-10 to 3-5. That's 58 to 23, and Mark Bayes might be coming off the ground. He hasn't done anything so far, and coming on is Mark Browning as the ball comes to half back, and it's a free kick to the Sydney Swans, and it will go to Gerard Healy, who's being picked up by Steve Newport at the moment. Now Healy started off brilliantly in the first quarter, up towards Tony Moore. He's shoved out of the contest as players go in after this. Simon Eishold, that was good football as he gets it towards half forward. Big Wayne Henwood runs to the line, and did he take it over? That was almost deliberate too, but the umpire...
I can't have that. He was trying to keep the ball in play.
Well, at the finish he was, but I think I don't know about the real intention to keep that in then, Bob.
On the throw-in, O'Dwyer gets the ball down. Jackson, a hand pass forward, goes after it again. The speed of Jackson as he goes towards goal, but he's offline, and 1 point comes on the board. Kicked by Ricky Jackson, his second.
You wouldn't believe this is the same side, the Swans, that we saw kick 35 goals in a couple of games, Bob.
No, they've really come back to the field since 5 or 6 weeks ago. Murphy, a hand pass to Tui. Tui up towards the forward area. It's Coop and Wright. Coop over the line and made no attempt to keep it in play. Good defensive work by Doug Coop. 21 and a half minutes have gone in the second quarter, and Melbourne lead 59 to 23. No clear tap as Murphy puts the ball forward. Mitchell, the left foot kick off the side of the boot. Carroll, Hughes first on the scene, and I'd get Coleman off the ground as quickly as I could. Yeats missed the sitter. Bolton, the hand pass through to Coleman. On to Carroll. Carroll goes short. Tony Moore couldn't take it, but tapped the ball on. Barry Mitchell coming forward. Caught one too high. Mitchell will take the free kick.
Oh, gee, Greg Williams having plenty to say there, Bob.
Well, he's probably suggesting there's a rule for one, and so Mitchell, a badly needed goal, is the understatement of the year from a Swans point of view.
Well, 22 and a half minutes gone. They need a couple before half-time.
They have not kicked a goal in this quarter. The Demons have added 6. Mitchell's kick will not be a goal. In fact, nobody even looked like taking the mark.
Well, they're very, very poor up forward. The Swans, they're missing Kappa with his marking ability, and but I think they need more than Kappa at the moment, because Melbourne are playing very, very good team football. As Coleman doing the ruck with the big leap was by White, grabbed by Mitchell, kicks across the face of goal. Tony Moore was there. Can he get there? No, he can't. Eventually it's forced over the line in that forward pocket, about 20 metres around from the behind post. 3-5 plays 8-11, so that's 5 goals, 6, so that's 6 goals exactly the difference. There was a bit of a push out. Grabbed by Brett Scott. He picks it up on the left foot. He fires and he's kicked it, I think. Great goal to Brett Scott.
Well, that was the one the Swans needed. They had to get a goal in this quarter, and they really do need to try and kick the next goal from the centre. As on replay we see Brett Scott take it well, and a lovely left foot kick, the natural foot of Brett Scott. Craig Holden is now on the wing on Stephen Stretch. Mark Browning on Todd Viney.
Ironmonger and O'Dwyer. Oh, brilliant play, Healy. This might get the Swans going. That is brilliant football. Oh, he didn't get the bounce, but he picks it up again. He hooks it back. That's great play, Healy. Is it a goal? I think it is. What a great piece of play by Gerard Healy, Bob.
Magnificent football, that one. He lost it, he regained it, and we did say that they needed to kick that next goal, and the manner that Gerard Healy led the way on replay. One bounce, walks again, this time he loses it, has a chance to recover it, and I didn't give him a chance of kicking a goal at that moment. A wonderful goal to Gerard Healy.
Well, that might lift them. They've kicked 2 goals in a minute. And I'll tell you what, I reckon that's why Healy did that big run, to try and inspire them. There's his brother, Greg Healy, getting it across to big Stephen O'Dwyer. Can the Swans hold them? All Steins was grabbed by Carter, grabbed by Ricky Jackson. He fires a goal, the little fella, it's a goal.
Touched off the boot.
Oh, touched off the boot, said the field umpire. And the goal umpire down there, Kevin. Let's see this touched off the boot. Bang! Oh, good, courageous decision by the umpire, but he was right there, and the Swans would breathe a sigh of relief.
Ian Roberts went for it. Ricky Jackson really putting the pressure on. Gerard Healy once again. The kick up in the air, punched on by Henwood. Browning's out there. Mark Browning takes it. Hand passes forward over the line. Got a push in the back according to the umpire, and so Mark Browning will finish with the free kick. Melbourne fans not too happy. A little bit technical, Pete.
I thought it was, but I think if the Swans are to win, Browning has to be firing. It has to be on the ground, so I'm pleased to see he's out there.
Brett Scott was up high. Lovett takes it there from Bailey. Puts the ball up towards the centre of the ground, but Roberts comes across to take the mark. Across to Browning. Browning dummied the hand pass from the centre of the ground, puts it down towards half forward. Coleman was up, punched away by the Demon defence, picked up by Bolton, breaks the tackle. Bolton puts a long kick down towards the forward area, and Lovett's played a superb game in defence for Melbourne.
Well, some of those Swans forwards are really lacking in judgment on some of those quick kicks, Bob.
Lovett puts the ball towards half forward, or half back to this. Mitchell able to get the ball up off the hands of the pack. Sean White, beautiful play, kicked off the ground. He's got Healy. It's Hughes who puts it to Healy, all on his own. Healy completely clear, brings it across to Robert Flower, who's got away fair from Cordy. A beautiful pass by Healy, but it started in defence with Sean White putting the ball away, getting it to Hughes. And on replay now, we see Greg Healy finding Robert Flower completely clear. Robert Flower kicking for his 4th goal. 4 goals to Flower.
Well, there's no doubt about the Melbourne champ. He knows he is a great goal sneak. He really does read the play well, and he put himself in the position for that pass. Great play by Sean White, but very poor play by the Swans forwards. 2-on-1, and Sean White beat 2 Swans players and allowed the loose man to develop, and that created the goal.
As I said earlier, Pete, there's no way I would leave Neil Cordy on Robert Flower. The man has already kicked 4 goals, 3 in this quarter. How long does it take?
9-12 to 5-5. 4 goals, 7 the difference. And here they come again. Simon Eishold looking for big Jim Steins. He flies, he marks. And he plays on, he's kicked. And I think he's dubbed it, he has. Another one to the Demons. Kicked by the big Irishman, Jimmy Steins. And although the Swans look to be coming back, Melbourne have got every answer. 10-12 plays 5-5. What's Steins? Too tall for Carter, takes the mark and wasn't going to play on. Now he does, and puts a low one through for a goal. So the Demons answering everything that the Swans can throw at them.
Cordy now at full back, Carter out on Robert Flower. O'Dwyer with the big punch, taken by Bolton. Bolton's kick off the side of the boot slightly, couldn't be taken by Healy. Good defensive work. Yeats drives the ball forward for Melbourne. Dean couldn't take possession, but he shows great courage to recover. Brilliant play by Warren Dean. Drives the ball forward, and almost a tremendous mark that time by Campbell. Browning got in underneath. No free kick call. Play on Steins, a snap towards goal. Touched off the boot. 1 point.
Well, the umpires, David Howlett there, and the goal umpire Kevin Andrews combining brilliantly. Then very quick to pick up that touch off the boot, and you can see there the umpires collaborating and saying that it was touched, but they're under enormous pressure now, the Sydney Swans.
The Swans' confidence has dropped. It's gone to pieces.
It's rock bottom. I don't know what's wrong with them, but I don't like that move of Carter on Flower. Flower will cut Carter to pieces as far as agility and pace. I know Rocket will try hard, but he's better on bigger players. As we see Dean, I'd certainly get Carroll up to the back line and get Cordy down to the forward line. I know it sounds but you've got to make the right moves at the right time, Bob.
Well, the forward line are doing absolutely nothing, and there's nothing at all up on the Swans forward line. Free kick to Ironmonger. The hand pass immediately. Mitchell. Love it. Playing an excellent game. Williams. Murphy.
But gee, they like having a go at Greg Williams. I wonder why.
Greg Williams crossing towards the centre. Healy comes out, playing a fine game for Melbourne. Got it to Browning. It's going to be brought back just as well for the Swans, that is, because it went straight into the arms of Sean White. And every time the ball goes forward, it's the Melbourne defence who are leading the way.
I think it's partly good defence and partly poor forward work, a bit of both, Bob.
Well, Melbourne have been excellent in this quarter, where they've kicked 7 goals, 9, and Glenn Coleman will be kicking from 55 metres out. Playing his 99th game, a free kick downfield. Carroll was being held according to umpire Cameron. Sean White arguing. You can't comment on what you didn't see, but, well, I don't know about those ones, Pete.
No, I didn't see it, Bob. There's Earl Spalding and Sean White not too happy, but Peter Cameron must have seen some form of interference in the goal square, and this should be a goal for sure. It's about 3 blokes on the mark, and Dennis Carroll pops it through for a goal.
Dennis Carroll kicks his second goal, and the Swans 6-5, Melbourne 10-13. So it's 23 scoring shots to 11, and in this quarter, that is the way the game has been played. Melbourne have kicked 8 goals, 9, while the Swans, they have gone now with 3 goals, 2 on the board, but 8 goals, 9 to Melbourne. A magnificent quarter of football. Dennis Carroll stats, recruited from Albury, 41-73. Ironmonger wins the tap. Melbourne applying pressure all over the ground. Viney again breaks the tackle, drives the ball forward. Bolton gains it. The hand pass across to Mitchell. Thought about the hand pass, steadies, puts it towards centre half forward. Carroll up high to take the lovely mark. Siren sounds for half time, but Dennis Carroll will have his kick. And the Swans skipper, well, what a vital kick. He's never had a more vital kick in his life.
They want this one desperately, just to give them that little bit of impetus for that second half. There's the kick. Dennis Carroll right in front. He kicks it high. It floats away. I think he's missed. He has 1 point. And what a disappointment of the captain. There's the scoreboard on screen. 6-6-42, the Sydney Swans were outplayed by Melbourne badly in that quarter. Melbourne at half-time on 10-13, a total of 73. So 31 points the difference, Bob.
Second half of football. Melbourne 73, Swans 42. 31 points the margin. Can the Swans come back as O'Dwyer wins the tap? Holden comes through, couldn't quite get the ball clear. Umpire Cameron got in the way of Bolton. Bolton was tackled, loses it, picked up by Holden, who drives the ball back in towards the centre. Coleman taps the ball down. Lovett leads in the race for the ball. Sean White lending support. Lovett kicks it off the ground. Over the boundary line on the full it goes. A free kick to go the way of the Sydney Swans.
Well, if the Sydney Swans have got any pride at all, Bob, they will come back hard in this